Washington mornings on the Mall. 105.9 FM. And AM 630. WMAL.
7:07 on WMAL, where Washington comes to talk. It's Brian Wilson, and I'm joined today by Dan Bongino, who just got through running a Senate campaign in the state of Maryland. We're going to be talking to you a little bit later about what that was all like. Dan, good morning. Good to have you.
Great to be here.
I want to mention Larry O'Connor is taking some time off to be with family. He'll be back soon. And we have on the line now Lon Anderson from AAA. Lon, how many years have you been doing this?
A lot, yeah. It's close to 20 years I've been doing this for AAA.
Well, and you're right now you're down at Reagan National, right?
Yes, exactly right. Yep.
All right.
Watching the travelers and the media.
Okay, yeah. So tell me, what's it like there now? I mean, some people might be going there a little later in the day, would like to know what they're going to be in for.
Well, they're going to be in for crowds. Today is the busiest travel day of the year, and no matter how you're going, whether it's by air, road, or rail, you're going to have lots of company. We're projecting about 1 million Washingtonians will be heading out of town, and about 91% of them are going to be on the road. So, very, very busy day.
And the airports, are they all ready to go? Are they beefing up for that?
They are. They're going to be, they're going to be very crowded. They're not very crowded yet, but much busier already than normally would be for this time of morning. And yes, we do have lines at security already. So, the important thing if you're going to be traveling by air is to get here early. Know it's going to take longer to park, longer to get through security, and if you miss your plane today, the chance of finding another open seat on another plane is probably very small.
Hey, Lon, Dan Bongino here. I would guess the Amtrak route, that Northeast Corridor, is pretty clogged up as well. I love that Acela going up to New York from Baltimore there, but I got to imagine the trains, that's not going to be an easy way out either, huh?
You better believe it. Amtrak is going to be packed today. All modes really are going to be packed. Our surveys indicate that about 91% are going to be on the road, so they are going to be the very busiest. But believe me, you're absolutely right. I'm sure that Amtrak probably doesn't have many extra seats, not today. So best advice, if you want to avoid the crowds, is to head out sooner rather than later, especially on the roads.
And what about gas prices? What can we expect there?
Gas prices, have been falling now for about 6 weeks. They have been really coming down, and we're looking right now a nationwide average somewhere around $3.38 a gallon. But the great news is, if you get just a little ways out of Washington, the gas can fall quite a bit. You won't believe this, but it's true. I filled up in Orange, Virginia last Saturday for $3.12 a gallon. $3.12 a gallon.
Wow.
And I filled up out on Kent Island a few days ago for $3.26. So, you can save 25, 30 cents a gallon just a few miles out of town. So, if you're heading out, I'd wait till you clear Washington to fill up.
Yeah, in other words, try to get down the road a little bit and you'll get a better deal.
That's exactly right.
All right, so are there any road issues we need to watch out for? Any places where it's really going to be a problem?
Well, all of the major highways out of town are going to be very busy, especially the later you get, the busier they're going to be today, because you get that mix of shoppers, commuters, and travelers. But, I think the area that we're seeing the most difficulty right now is, on the Beltway in Northern Virginia, where they have opened the express lanes, and unfortunately we've had some crashes there. It's a new traffic pattern, and motorists are just having a little bit of difficulty getting used to it. It'll be better when they get used to it. But our best advice is, when you're going through Northern Virginia on the Beltway, remember, we do have express lanes now, but they are open, and they will make things better, but it's different. So just watch the signs and be prepared, and there are some drivers out there that are doing some stupid things, so be a little more cautious.
I've always noticed that I-95 between here and Richmond is bad, and the times that I've driven 95 north, I can only imagine that's going to be a disaster. It's like between here and Philly.
I-95 between here and Richmond is just terrible all of the time. I sometimes try to beat the crowds by driving in the middle of the night, and then you hit construction closures. I mean, you just can't. There's no good way to do it. And unfortunately, Sunday, I'm going to be on that. My mom lives in Richmond, and I'm going to be on the road from Richmond to Washington Sunday afternoon, and I'm already dreading it.
Hey, Lon, any remnants of Sandy in the gas stations? I ask you that because a couple friends of mine in New Jersey were saying that the gas stations on the Turnpike up until a few days ago were absolutely packed still. Anything about that from your end?
Every day it's getting a little better, but it's still, I mean, there's some places where it's still very touchy up there, but the good news is it is returning to normal. Perhaps the most unusual thing is that gas prices are still higher up in New Jersey, and traditionally, New Jersey's got some of the lowest gas prices on the East Coast and often in the country, but not so right now.
I would imagine that if you were driving north, the one thing you would not want to do is run out of gas in New Jersey. You ought to fill up before you need to, right? I mean, isn't that good advice?
That's good advice, but fortunately, our gas supply is really good in up and down the East Coast right now. The only areas where we had any trouble at all, of course, were New Jersey, where we were having power issues as a result of Sandy, and they continue to linger. And I'm sure in New York, in New York and some of the hardest hit areas, there's probably some issues there. But good news is gas is plentiful right now, and the prices are not bad for the most part.
All right, you're I said you're at Reagan National. Set the scene there. What are you seeing?
Well, there are a lot of travelers on the move right now, but where I am, it's amazing. We've got 4 TV cameras set up here. The media is here big time tracking travel, and so I've been doing a lot of TV and radio interviews from here, and there's almost more media here right now than there are travelers. But with every advancing minute, that's changing. The cabs and the limos are pulling up and disgorging their customers. And
what's the security line like?
We do have lines at security already, so just be prepared.
Be patient. Be patient.
Be patient. That's right, and be safe.
And don't reach into that back pocket on the airplane.
Stay out of there.
Stay out of there. You got information from us. That's where all the bacteria are. All right. It's thank you much, Lon. Always good to hear from you. Thanks a lot for giving us the update. This is just one of those days where you just got to take a deep breath. It's just going to be bad.
Are we there yet?
Yeah.
Are we there yet with kids? Yeah, you do. Take a deep breath.